All right, good morning first, indeed. Joey's fireside chat with EV3. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Let's see, should we switch over to solo? I'm not sure if Joey's popping on today or not. But here's what we got. Let's see, top of the hops, Wednesday, October 15th, special day in my family for undisclosed reasons, but pretty cool. What have we got here? Onocoy stickers in the halls of power. They had a nice little post on X about one of the folks who's interested in blockchain in Germany giving a presentation to the German government. That was pretty cool to see. And had a sticker on the back of his computer, had an Onocoy sticker on the back of the computer. In the description, there's a link to where Onocoy stations are. They're looking for stations throughout Asia. So if you have one there, might be a good thing to check out. In the land of anyone, they're running ads on Facebook. I thought this was pretty cool. It's just saying this kind of signal in general. Oh, there's Joey. That folks are saying, hey, we're about to take crypto to the normies, and we'll see how well that goes. That should work out pretty well. But what's up, Joey? Let me see if I can link you in here, and then we'll jump on to anyone where we were. Yeah, so anyone running ads on Facebook, bringing in the normies, that's pretty cool to see there. In Helium land, they just had, I think, their first, and we can talk about this, Joey, first X space for the IoT working group on Monday. Maybe there was one 2 Mondays ago that I missed, but this seemed to be the first one. First one that I saw. And there's a NetworkX event that Mario is talking about, and both HRP-2025 and HIP-148 have passed. I believe HIP-148 was about changing the mapping rewards to go to the data transfer pool, I think.
And split between data transfer pool and service provider.
Cool. And then HRP 2025 was, was that the same thing? I got my notes mixed up here.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the implementation of that or something.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. There's a link in the description with the link to the GitHub so you can read the entirety of the thing. Let's see. In Hivemapper land, I saw Ariel posting about adding a new device. They pushed their AMA to October 30th. Good to see those guys shipping. I just like that Hivemapper works so hard. I know that some of you are not super psyched on them, but goddamn, I got a lot of respect for folks that get after it. GeoDnet, I'm still blocked on their Twitter. I think I can see what's going on. I can't comment, which doesn't matter because I don't comment on almost anything anyway. But good to see them burning. I want to make sure that they got some love. I saw that their burn rate is up and they're focused on robotics. I think that's pretty much everybody, which is cool. Everybody, at least in the GNSS space. I know Onocoy certainly is. Let's see. Wi-Fi Dabba, DePIN, I think on X this week. So just doing more promo in general, talking about what they're doing. DIMO had this demo by Rob on his car. He called it a sentient AI being. I thought that was maybe a little forward. I don't think we have sentience yet, but I like leaning into AI. I've got a lot of respect for that. That's pretty cool. And he had his car that booked its own repairs. It can run its own diagnostics. And then there was a tease about not going to the DMV, but I didn't see that this AI will actually go to the DMV for you, which I don't think is true yet. Let's see. Wingbits is out in Korea. So pretty clearly, kind of Asia blockchain land is a big deal. And they were talking about giving advice on apartment installs, which I think is a big piece of all of these different kind of outdoor DePIN pieces, whether it's WeatherXM or Helium or Wingbits, is that lots of folks live in apartments. They don't have a house with a roof like some of us do. And so they just don't have the same kind of access and freedom to put up what would be generally considered an excellent install. But it doesn't mean that their install is worth nothing, which I think is the kind of great promise of DePIN is the old, was it the Animal House, to each according to their need, from each according to their something or other. Which it doesn't end well, but we'll see. It should have worked out differently with DePIN.
Animal House that's a deep cut for.
Yeah. Or is it Animal? What is that Animal House, George Orwell, or is it Animal Farm or something?
Oh, okay. I think Animal House is the movie.
Yeah. It's the. Did we stop when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no. Okay. Animal Farm. Fuck. I know I'm.
Animal. I think it's Animal. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
In any event, Spexi land, Canadian Thanksgiving. I wanted to wait until Keenan got here just to wish them a happy Thanksgiving. It's cute that they celebrate it now. I guess the Canadian winter comes a lot earlier. What's up, Fred? Animal Farm. Thank you, 619. and Cisco Cat. Ooh, Cisco Cat. Let's see. I saw that Wingbits. Well, we'll talk about 619's turtle encounter later. WeatherXM, I thought, man, they missed this great opportunity to call this story A Tale of Two Stations, but they had a little thing on X about two weather stations in the same hex, same hex in London, and how they're really different. One was basically monitoring the weather right in some apartment complex, and one was right on the edge of a park, and they just monitor two things, and they didn't call it A Tale of Two Stations. The old, was it Shakespeare thing? So, whatever. Let's see. Met-Sci stuff, nothing going on there. Maybe I'll talk to Kevin. I've been working on the logos for Sledzilla, because if I
Ooh.
use the Godzilla thing, then this company Toho will sue me because they own Godzilla's whatever trademark thing, and I don't really want to be sued. Yeah. So I think that's it.
I like Sledzilla.
I think Sledzilla is super cool. I ordered a bunch of the parts over the past couple weeks, so they'll all be coming in this next week. And just made me think I really love building shit. And it's been too long since I've been in the garage building stuff. I've been building a ton of stuff on the interwebs. And I figured I'm just going to get after it and go for this thing. I'm not sure, aside from paleo treats, which has taken up a ton of time and is super fun, what else I'm going to do in my crazy life. So for now, it's going to be a Sledzilla and building the thing out. That's it. That's the news I got, Joe. I think we did it in 6 minutes. What's going on?
Cool. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. You touched on Mario, some like NetworkX event, but blowing that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So him and Joey Patton are in Paris right now for the WBA event.
Oh.
So it's the Wireless Broadband Alliance, and it's kind of all telco and Wi-Fi maker stuff. And it's frankly like really impressive. Helium is in a bit of a spot of leading the charge as far as it comes to like telcos integrating Passpoint and being a connectivity layer. So they're basically the subject matter experts in the room for that kind of stuff, which is very proud of them.
Yeah, that's super cool to see. I think that's one of maybe the unanticipated benefits of being out on the cutting edge, is that at some point the rest of the world catches up and they're like, oh, you've been doing this crazy thing with crypto, but you've also been doing this thing that at scale that hasn't been done as well by other people or whatever. And you've really been working with a shitload of people who don't understand networking at all. And so maybe you've got a wide base of knowledge there.
Yeah. No, I think folks are excited to see it pulled out of the enterprise space a little bit. And when you can explain it to anybody, it means it probably is just getting easier in general. So a lot of the work we've done is paying off there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Good to see. What else? I missed the first like 12 minutes of the working group space. And I came in when Matthew was explaining how he found helium, and then it looked like everyone else talked about how they found helium. So I missed the kind of cue for the top of that. Was it just like, hey, we're doing this new thing. Everybody talk about how they found helium?
Well, so the prompt was actually, how can we talk about an easy to onboard sensor, right?
Okay.
What's a good like first sensor for somebody, or what's a good first project for somebody? Yeah, because we're sort of new venues doing this on Twitter. Like the viewership was pretty thin on Discord, and there's very
Yeah.
minimal replayability there. And so
It,
this was, a first stab with the Twitter space.
yeah.
I feel very strongly about getting that over to video and using Riverside or something, because Twitter Spaces was frankly kind of abysmal.
Yeah.
I think the first 12 minutes I couldn't talk, or people couldn't hear me, or it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to learn how to
But
use it, and it's a pain in the ass.
yeah, but overall, like a fun show in the sense that, we sort of touched on the business stuff really quickly, got that out of the way. There's a couple of grants in flight. We're trying to get clarity on. You're sort of looped up in some of that stuff too. And then
Is that
a couple
something that I can
updates on.
ask about? Like, what's the clarity there? Or is that just like, oh, we got a bunch of internal processes we got to sort out?
It's kind of a shifting around of internal processes. So
Cool.
Sam's trying to get above all of it, basically. So it's no fault of his, really. It's just it is what it is. So
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I was just like, huh. The last couple times it has been easier just to get through the administrative process. And this time it seems like there's some significant shifting around. But
Yeah.
what else? Let's see, some Sledzilla stuff in there. I'll actually take the Helium thing down. Maybe Kevin, and I should say Flywheel Systems down at the bottom right. They got a description down there. If you're doing DePIN deployments, go check out what they're doing. I know Kevin was on one of the Helium shows a while ago. So this Sledzilla thing, maybe I'll see if Kevin can get me a logo for that once I have a finished logo. It was, did I send you the site that I'm building, Joey? Did you see the dinosaur, like the T-Rex logo?
Oh, maybe not.
Do you get what's the easiest way for me to send you this? Because it's not ready for the public. Do I just send it to you in interview chat? Maybe I can try that. Everyone's seen this before.
It's not the domain that I guessed. Okay. Yeah,
it is the domain you guessed, I'm sure. Yeah. So in that now, if the company Toho goes and finds it, they'll be like, oh, you have to take this thing down, or who knows? Who knows what they do? When I talked to GPT, because I was thinking about going after a trademark for it, it was like, oh, you can't use the ending of Zilla and anything to do with the dinosaurs or the, fucking spines up the back or atomic breath or whatever for like Godzilla. But I like the name, and that's what I was doing. So now I've got to change the icon and the branding around it. And so I've been playing around with this Nautilus branding today, but I haven't put anything up on the site. And then, like I said, all this stuff, or almost all this stuff, should be in by next week. And yeah, super fun to learn about and figure it out.
This is exciting. There's just like a whole build rundown on here.
Oh, I'll tell you something super cool. And anyone can find this if you review the last couple of shows or you've been on the last couple of shows. It's not like the domain is totally secret, but I don't want to push it out in public yet. Is because it's a funky TLD, right? It's not a .com. That means that when I had to think through this thing. It's like, I want people to be able to comment, because one of the reasons I had built the site was there's this local STEM group and they're like, hey, send me a flyer on what you're doing. I'm like, I'll just build this website out and I'll send it to them when it's built out and I'll just document what I'm doing. But I want people to be able to comment, and I don't want bots to be able to comment. And so usually the way that works is you sign up and you get an email, right? You sign up on gristleking.com to be able to comment. And typically to verify your account, you'll get an email. But when I send an email from this TLD, because of the ending, it will almost always go to spam, right? And I think Helium found that out because they used the same TLD early on, or they tried to.
A different one, but yeah. I think it was XYZ they were on.
Yep. So, and I think they use, in any event, so I was like, how would I do this? And I know from some email expertise I've got is that you want to warm up your domain. It's like, oh, if I could get people to email me or an address at this site, that would warm up the domain. And once they've emailed this address, then anything from that domain comes back to them is much more likely to make it through their spam filter. So I built the system where if you want to comment, you have to send in an email, and you send it. So if you tried it right now and you signed up as whatever, Joey, and you're like, hey, I want to comment. So the order of operations, this is all fucking super fascinating for me, is you comment and then it says, hey, in order for this comment to go live, send me an email. There's a mail to link. So you click it. If you're on Mac or whatever, I'm assuming if you're on Windows, it opens up your mail and sends the thing. So the address is pre-filled. The body and the subject should be pre-filled. If not, there's instructions on saying just like, hey, Nick, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. That goes to a Cloudflare worker, coming back to Cloudflare always, that I think verifies it in Mailgun, which is the thing handling the email. So actually it goes to Mailgun. Mailgun sends a thing to Cloudflare working saying, cool, this is a real account. And now that you've sent it from your email, it's much less likely that you're a bot, because bots aren't going to send emails to this thing and figure this out. And then you're approved. And then once you're approved, I built a custom OpenAI bot that takes everything about the sled, all of the stuff I've written, and it vectorized it. And so now you can, in the comment section, if you comment and it's something that I might not understand, like it's some engineer, local engineer, it's like, oh, dude, you can't use V-belt pulleys, you have to use tooth pulleys. This AI thing, this AI bot will say, hey, can you help explain that in a way? Or like, this is an answer to your question, like, oh, this is the ratio, da 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 da. But it's got access to all of the information in it. And so it's like super fun to build this bot that's specifically for, and then it will comment on the blog. So you'll write your comment, and within a minute, there should be a new comment or new response to your comment from the bot below. It's like super fun to build. I'm not sure if people actually use it.
Hmm. I guess I'm most curious about the sort of inverted 2FA. That's kind of cool. So you, instead of entering your email and having a thing pop up in your email that you then you go paste somewhere, you basically just have a link that says send me an email, and then you can like validate it that way. That's
Yeah,
clever.
and it's clunkier, but I figured like fuck it, people that are doing this, they're not going to mind emailing. It's not like I'm building, you know, something that is like completely frictionless for a billion people. It's like, this is you're doing something crazy anyway. You're pushing this sled around a neighborhood.
Mhm.
Um, so
Are we going to put some like Onocoy find location stuff on there and like make this the DePIN sled or?
I think um I don't know, like I don't know what I'll do as far as the deep in stuff. It will certainly use Helium for location. That was the kind of the core piece. But I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and I was telling him what I was doing. He owned a CrossFit gym, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, we bought that. There's a company called, I think it's Torque Fitness, and they build these sleds called tanks, and the tanks are like, I don't know, $1,700.
Wow.
And it's a magnetic drive, and there's 4 settings. There's not like an infinite number of settings, so they're different than what I've got, and they're designed to be used like in a gym or out in the parking lot, and that's it. And I was telling him about this sled thing that I built and how it gets pushed around the community. It goes for a couple 100 meters or 1,000 meters or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, could you build a sled OS and send me a box that I can put on my tanks, and then I can basically convert my tanks to participate in the same thing that you've done in your neighborhood?"
Mm.
I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
that's a cool
interesting.
idea."
Yeah.
And so I think if that's the
Huh.
if that's the case, that would be pretty cool if there is a sled OS, and then because all these tanks, like the gym owners have already bought them, if they spend another whatever $200 or whatever it is on the hardware, which is basically like an Oyster and probably an ESP32,
Mhm.
to read off the mag drive, whatever the fuck it is, if it's not already somehow in there, um, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess the interesting thing there is that there's even interest from a gym operator to like they've everything in there is, you know, dumb technology for the most part, right? Like it
Yeah,
is weights on bars and whatever. Um, the sort of angle of like Peloton and some of these other things where it becomes more social or more interactive, or like there's, you know, whatever, somebody coaching you along. That's kind of cool to think about. There's interest to like extend that experience out into other products in the gym setting.
yeah. And I think that thing I've talked about, this like Strava for hardware thing, if the data coming in becomes, I think normalized is the right term, but basically if
Mhm.
the watts are correct on any sled, so whether you're pushing the original Sledzilla or you're pushing uh, a tank from Torque or whatever the other sleds out there are, and you add
Mhm.
a sled OS to it, if I can see that Joey pushed a sled at 200 watts for 10 minutes up in whatever, San Francisco, and I pushed one for 210 watts or 190 watts, maybe the next time that I push, I'll be like, oh, I got to get after it and catch up to Joey. And there becomes like a cool little competition across the world, just like there is with the Concept 2 rowers. If you've ever gotten into those, like there's a giant Concept 2 community
Hmm.
that all just figures out their, like, oh, I rode, 500 meters or 2,000 meters in a minute or 2 minutes or whatever it is. So,
Yeah. Huh. It's fun. I love seeing the ideas expand. It's all right. We really got to make this thing happen.
yeah,
Build day.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, come on down. So I think most 80% of the stuff comes in the next, actually, no, 100% of the stuff will be in here by the week after next.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'll go buy the metal this week and then, yeah, start cutting and welding.
Sweet.
Open,
Yeah.
open invite. Come down anytime. House is open.
Yeah. I
So,
got a wood chipper extravaganza this weekend, so that's
okay.
that's what's going to keep me busy.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's going to
future
happen.
weekends, I think, are open.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck the buying this shit was $700 for the first set of parts, and it'll be another $300 for the rest of the parts. So it was much more than I originally thought. but you can see on the
Mhm.
bomb that, I don't know, it's $1,000. It'll be 1,200 or so with the battery, which I've been told not to use the LiPo FE4s because if they catch on fire, they're not going to go out. I think Nos was saying like, just use a regular car battery. But I've got the LiPo
Sure.
FE4s and I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it. I'm going to use those. If someone catches these on fire, maybe that'll be epic.
Yeah. I thought the FE4 or the FO4, whatever they are,
Yeah.
that
LifePo. Yeah.
I thought those were more stable, but
I thought so too, but they
um,
were disabusing me of that misunderstanding. But I didn't understand it. The other thing is,
yeah.
have you seen this Mentra glass?
Uh, I,
MENTRA dot glass.
yes, I stumbled across that the other day. Oh, you posted about it, I think.
So they had a thing that's it's so there's, I don't know if they're smart glasses, they're camera glasses. And
Hmm.
I think we talked about this last time. Um, I was in a sewing class the other day, and the teacher had a set of the Meta glasses,
Mm.
and she was demonstrating something on the sewing machine, and turned her glasses on, and all of a sudden you've got her viewpoint, and you can see what she's doing. And she didn't have zoom on it, so she had to take the glasses off and put them down close to the presser foot. But it was really cool because you saw exactly what she was seeing. I was like,
Mm.
oh, that's rad. And I looked up the Meta glasses and they were $800. I'm like, it's not 800
Mm.
bucks rad for me because I don't teach regularly. And then they're in the metaverse, which I think Facebook and all the rest of them are awesome and really kind of pilloried for being this enormous social good, but also capturing information. And that's how you pay is with your information. But people get super pissed. They're like, oh, I should get this thing that cost those companies billions of dollars and I should get it for free and I should get my privacy. It's like, that's not how it works.
Mhm.
So in any event, I wanted to be able to hack on these glasses a little bit. And I thought with the sled stuff coming up, I can start to document pieces of the build and maybe put the glasses on and stream it. So like, hey, this is this corner joint being welded, or this is how these pulleys go on, or whatever it was. And
Mhm.
so I checked those out. And
Got
yeah,
to make sure they fit under your welding hood.
or
They
just
should, right? I guess they look pretty normal size.
yeah, yeah, or you get that where you want it. Welding hood goes up. Close your eyes and just hit the trigger
No.
and just do a
Yeah.
stack.
You don't need to do that. Yeah. That would be fun. The first person build would be pretty cool.
I
I
thought
think
that,
there's an older version of the Meta glasses that might be a little bit more reasonable to get your hands on because they just shipped that new one like maybe a month ago. So I think they're still pretty expensive.
yeah. The new one, the $800 one is, I don't know. I'm sure it's awesome, and it's got both the
Mm.
camera and the display. And the Mentra that I ordered just has a camera. But
Yeah.
they basically said like, hey, if you're gonna put the
You know,
camera on the display, I think he said the bomb on the Meta glasses is $1,200 that are losing on every set of glasses, but they want to get it out
that's what
there.
I heard. Yeah. No, they're focused on like just market penetration, get people to use these things. Just smart. Um, Speaking of glasses, I just noticed this morning the new Apple Vision Pros shipped quietly. Um,
Huh.
Interesting angle for them. So hardware mostly stays the same externally. The
The look of the
industrial
thing.
design of it.
Yep.
Um, they changed the headband, so it's like less of a neck exercise to use the thing, I guess now.
Have you ever
And
used
they
them?
put
I've
a
never touched them.
I've used them once. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, huh, neat. I don't need to spend $4,000 on this. That was kind of my outcome. Um, but yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of see where some of that goes. That would actually work great as a welding hood too, because you're actually completely insulated from the outside.
Yeah, I'm guessing the spatter might ruin your $4,000 headset glasses though.
Yeah, it's a lot of UV, a lot of bright lights. It might not like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I might not take it. I saw so for 609, I don't think these have glasses in the back, but Frodobots just came out with a robo, I think they're calling it robo cap. And it's a visor with like 6 cameras on it, and it's got cameras looking at your eyeballs so it can see where
Wow.
you're looking.
Huh.
And there's no clear use case for it other than giving Frodobots the data that it needs to sell to make robots that do kind of human similar stuff. So I think it's like you're buying these just to like fuck around and find out and see what's going on, but you're also making sure that the robots know what it's like to be a human.
Hmm.
Take that for take that with whatever perspective you spin you want to put on it. But
Yeah.
I
Well, and I guess
good.
well, also this week we saw Anduril posted some content around like their heads up display thing.
Oh, I missed it.
Um,
Shit.
and yeah, peep that one. It struck me a little bit as dystopian, frankly. So they're doing a full heads up display. It's a full helmet, full gear, cameras front and back. So kind of like what you're talking about there.
Yep.
But then what the soldier sees basically looks like Counter-Strike. So like there's like a drone overlay. They can show you guys sort of ghosted out standing behind a wall. There's a little map with the angles. Like it just like it was a weird like merge of worlds for me that uh, it's not even my world, but it just like it struck me as like a little wild times we're in. So just I
Yeah.
mean it's out there now. They're building it. They're gonna push that forward. And Palmer Luckey is like the VR guy, right? So
And I'm
um,
guessing it's already being used, or it has already been used, and they've tested it. Even if they're like, "Oh, we just released this,"
yeah.
is my. If I'm guessing, my guess is that people have already been killed with that technology. Just like, oh man, this works so well.
Yeah, that's yeah, I don't know. Check the videos for that because they were shipping a couple of different. They did like a tech demo. They did like a first person thing, and it's kind of all that stuff's up on Twitter. But um, yeah, wild to
Cool.
see where that stuff's going.
I think there's two things, and I've got one thing. I've got a question for you. Let me write down my second thing so I don't forget it. Is a sponsorship thing. Um, what was the first one? Oh, it seems to me, and it would be super cool if you could go back and talk to folks in the transition from horses to cars. Is it the zeitgeist? Was it the same where it's like, oh, these things are just gonna like ruin the world, and
Mm,
horses are so much better, and like the cars are gonna take over, and everybody's gonna get killed because they go so fast, which is what I feel like is happening today with AI. When I talk to a lot of people, they're super worried about it, and
mhm.
I wonder. To me, it seems like pretty clearly we're spawning a new species. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't think that humans are just a bacteria or a virus, but it's also like, what do I know about what they think? And maybe it's just like, oh yeah, let's work together and make this place awesome together. I don't know.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. This is like one of those coin flip alternate reality things. It kind of feels like in the same way that the horse and buggy thing could have. Who knows? Maybe cars are just exploding all the time, and it would have been terrible. Um,
Yeah,
They do,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we deal with it anyway, I guess. So, um, I there was a interview with Sam Altman, and I thought it was a sort of an insightful take. But he's like, we used to talk about AGI as being this like big pivotal event,
It's an
but
interview.
his take now is, well, it's more like it's just gonna happen and nobody's gonna notice. Like you'll be like, oh, I'm just talking to this thing a little bit differently than I was before.
Yeah,
Um, I think that's starting to feel like more the realistic take. Like you've got Monster running, you've got all these models that you can do stuff with, and you're just gonna go from like treating it like you have to reprompt it every time to just having a little bit more of a conversation with it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Or maybe it's
I
going to have
notice
the answers before you ask them, right? Like, who knows?
I think it's starting that way because I don't know, I was upset about something yesterday. I was like, oh, I'll just talk to chat and just talk to like, because none of my buddies I couldn't get anyone on the phone. I was like, I'll just talk to chat and ask it about what this thing that I'm having a problem with. And just as
Mhm.
that reaction is like, oh, it's like another friend of mine. Like I'm calling my friends all the time. And now it's like, oh, I'll just call chat because chat always picks up and is always there. And it's not always right,
Yep.
but it's also like, it sure knows a lot.
Sounded like a friend.com advertisement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a pretty crazy thing, and I think it's one of those things that I'd rather just have it be out in the open as like a open conversation because I'm guessing a lot of other people use it in a very similar way.
Mhm.
Especially once you discover the chat piece where you can just talk to it. It's just super easy. I'm doing the dishes and I'm like, hey, explain whatever XYZ to me.
Yeah. I keep telling people about that and they look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's that same horse and buggy kind of thing of like, they don't want to believe it yet, or they can't believe it because they haven't tried it.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, I encounter folks almost every day who are like, "Oh, I'm not going to use AI. It's stupid." And I'll tell them to use it, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even read the response after I put in the prompt." Like,
Hmm.
if you don't engage with it, it's going to be really hard to keep up. Because I thought of this too yesterday. Is that AI? This is a common mistake that I see in folks around me, especially in the business world. AI is not meant to do your work for you, or the best use of AI is not to do your work for you, but to make you work much better and more efficiently.
Mhm.
And I see a bunch of people who are trying to get, like, I'll tell them about it, and they try and have it do their homework, and it's like, no, no, that's not what it's for. It's making it so you
Right.
can be way better when you do your homework.
Yeah. No, there's a mentality shift that has to apply there, which is, I think people are used to just Googling for the answer or like whatever, but the tool is much better at breaking apart a thing and like being the TA or the lab hours or whatever that you weren't getting otherwise. Like that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although I do notice that Google is better for answering like specific questions, is GPT still seems like it's stuck in a year or two ago, which I can't
Mhm.
imagine is the case. Like they got to be retraining that thing all the time, and it does get some current event stuff right.
I've actually been able to do a bunch of current stuff with GPT because if it doesn't know, like literally like stuff that happened like 2 days ago. Um, and I think it's just going and crawling the web and trying to like figure out where that information is. We had a Helium site and we're like, why is this thing doing so much traffic? It's a convention center. And I was like, well, what was going on there 2 days ago? And it was already gone from the website, but I was able to go pull it up and there was some like dance competition or something. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, everyone was there streaming, like whatever. The website
Great.
was all about like how to sign up for streaming, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so it was really handy to be able to like just what would normally be a really extended Google search, I was able to throw at this thing and it just like ground through it and figured out what the answer was.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's a fascinating thing, and it's like every week the use for me use of AI changes. Although the consistent theme over the past couple of months has been that I'll use AI to unlock some kind of thing that would have been locked to me because it's behind some coding expertise. Like
Mhm.
a good example is for paleo treats. We have all these pictures of people who have paleo desserts in their hand. We always take pictures of customers when they're walking out the door, they're holding up their bag or they're holding their bread or whatever it is. And I was like, oh, I should load all those pictures onto this Shopify site. And then there's this brand prompt on GPT that you can put in. So you could put this in for Helium and put in the competitors. I'll send it to you. I send it to anyone that wants it. I sent it to Neil, and Neil's like BFG Neil, and he's like, oh yeah, there's other stuff that does this. But you put in the prompt, like, hey, you put in the prompt, you put in, here's my brand paleo treats, here's my competitive brands, like how am I ranking for AI search, and it'll give you a
Mm.
really really helpful
Mm.
response to the whole thing. And so one of the things that came up for me when I ran that prompt was that paleo treats needs more structured metadata. So I've been working on it on the Shopify store and
Mm.
making sure that works. And then I was like, oh, I'll just upload all these photos. And then I was talking to ChatGPT, and it said, really, what you should do is make sure that the metadata in the photos is up to date and correct, and et cetera, describing it correctly.
Mm.
So I used GPT to walk me through using, I think it's called EXIF, EXIF,
Mhm.
which is how you read or write metadata to photos if you want to go beyond just whatever your phone's taking. And so yesterday, starting at basically zero, at the idea that, like, hey, I should add metadata to my photos, and ending the day at an app that I've got running locally that Lee used to upload photos and add all the metadata that they needed to them more or less automatically just by naming the picture. I was able to figure out, although I still don't understand any of the code, I just know that it works, how to do it.
Mm. It's interesting that it asks for metadata on the pictures.
God, I hope that's
Never
the
would
right
have
word
like,
for it.
well, but I mean that is a thing. You put in like the location, the
Mm-hmm.
description, like the artist, which camera was used, what the settings were, like that's all the stuff that's baked in there. And a lot of applications strip that out of concerns of privacy. Like you don't want to post a picture on Twitter and then actually you ended up outing where you lived or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, hmm,
So it's interesting
strange. Nice.
to yeah, to do that. And then to think, I mean, obviously, not obviously, for our company, the company policy going forward to be like, hey, when you upload
Yeah.
images to Shopify, use this app that I built. And all you have to do is descriptively name the image. Smiling curly haired woman holding up Mustang, which is a granola snack bar or whatever. .jpg.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, naming the product is probably the most critical thing in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the rest of it, I feel like an AI would figure out or understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So
you don't want it to say granola bar; you want it to say your product. So, yeah.
yeah, and I think there's actually a piece I'm super psyched on is we've got a list of like 5,000 keywords that we generally target. And by generally target, it's like, hey, this is a list of keywords that is relevant to us. And it could be paleo
Mhm.
bread. What is paleo bread sandwich, paleo bread toast, paleo toast, et cetera, et cetera. They're all close. And so when you descriptively name the image, the system that I built then goes to those keywords and says, when we put in the metadata, what are we going to do and what keyword are we going to try and rank for?
Hmm.
And so you can guide it if you have a good idea of the keywords like I do, where I'm naming the thing like, hey, woman eating paleo toast with almond butter or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so then when it goes and looks for keywords in our list of keywords or like, hey, we're trying to rank for these things, it says use paleo toast or whatever the fuck it is in there.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
you get to train the AIs a little bit. Um,
yeah.
Last week, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, but you were talking about how you sort of made a mandate for your employees to use AI in any. Like, have you seen any like interesting outcomes from that?
It's interesting in the sense that one of them is super psyched on it, one of them is less psyched.
Hmm.
And so it's interesting, A, just the reactions. Um,
Mm.
Two is like the use of AI and the use of GPT and just seeing like, oh, there are more and less sophisticated ways to use GPT. And the least sophisticated way is to type in like an unsophisticated question and then take the
Mhm.
response as gospel.
Mm.
And I think that just comes like, I mean, I wasn't the first user of ChatGPT, but I was certainly among that first wave that was doing it. And I remember Fish gave us a presentation a couple years ago, whenever it came out, and we're in the Gristle crew, and we're all like, "Holy shit, this thing's amazing!" And I've been using
Mm.
it since then. And basically, if you look at my usage over time, it just goes up and to the right.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so now watching people who are new to it use it is like, oh, that was the kind of thing I was doing 2 years ago when I was didn't realize that the thing was even called a prompt. It's just like I'm just asking it a question. And now I've seen, I've read books on prompts and seen like, okay, this makes a huge difference if you use the right prompt.
Yeah. I've had similar things with coworkers be like, it doesn't know how to do X, Y, or Z. And then you see the prompt and it's like, well, of course not. Like, you, yeah,
Yeah.
got to give it some framework to work off of, context. And it is the same if you gave anybody the same prompt, right? Like, would you expect them to know what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, no, no. And it's just like, I mean, just a simple thing like if you write your prompts in Markdown, it's easier for the AI to read it and understand what's important. Like super simple stuff there.
Yeah.
And that also helps you organize it. So you're like, okay, what is important to me and what are like less important things because it can't pick up perfectly human context yet. But if you're like, oh, this is, you know, pound important versus pound, or hashtag,
Interesting.
hashtag,
Yeah,
hashtag.
I definitely don't go that far, but I'm very intentional about wrapping like code blocks or things like that with just markdown content, like common like backticks or whatever. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, that stuff just bleeds into like all the other text around it. It would be confusing if somebody blasted that at me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Let's see, here's the link, share, blah, 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 ask to share, copy link. So I think I can put the prompt, maybe I'll put it in the comments. Or this is the thing that you can use to put your brand in there. So you could put in Helium and say our competitors are whatever, AT&T and Verizon, and I'm sure you'll get some feedback there.
Wait, so you literally just paste your info in here and then send this into Chat GPT,
Mm-hmm.
or it's this? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was very impressed with the quality of what that got.
Hmm, I'll probably give that a try.
Yeah. Try it.
We've
I mean, try it
definitely
for,
been for like,
go ahead.
for Helium, we've just been trying to figure out like where people are learning about, like we've had this like big community for such a long time, and it's hard to know where people are coming in from these days. So I think a big part of that is ChatGPT is the front page of the internet in effect, and
Yeah.
it's sourcing things from Reddit and whatever else. So we just got to make sure we're training it well, sort of on all those angles. So I think a little analysis like this would probably be really informative.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it out. I wanted, so Neil, you ran it twice. I just ran it once and I was so impressed with the first one. I was like, I don't need to run it twice, but maybe I should have run it twice to see if there's a ginormous difference.
Run it twice.
um,
Yeah, maybe it will.
okay. I've got a question for you is,
Mhm.
as I do this sled thing, like I said, the whole thing will cost, I don't know, I bet it cost fucking $2,000 by the time I'm done fucking around with it and buying the wrong thing and the right thing and doing this. Maybe less, maybe 1,500.
Yeah.
And so as I'm going into this, I'm like, all right, Paleo Treats does well enough to pay the bills, but if I'm starting to do these things where I'm spending extra money, I've got to figure out a way for it to at least support itself. And so I was like, oh, I'll put t-shirts on there and sell those, but t-shirts are not super profitable in general,
Mhm.
unless you're selling a shitload. And then O'Neill is doing it with two different brands. Cool. And so I thought, what if I put up on the store the ability to sponsor each part? So like an 18.75-inch flywheel, or sorry, pulley is $90. And so someone would go there and say like, hey, I think this sled thing is cool. I'll
Flywheel by Flywheel Systems. Is
sponsor
that like,
by the, yeah,
yeah.
maybe Flywheel Systems buys the flywheel. I'll sponsor the flywheel, or I'll sponsor the wheels, or I'll sponsor the axle. And they're all different prices, or I'll sponsor a bucket of bolts or whatever. You don't get anything for it other than that maybe I'd write your name on the pulley, to write like powered
Mhm.
by whatever, BFG Neil, or powered by Joey, like whatever name you wanted to put on there. And it would just be in Sharpie. Like it wouldn't be, certainly at first, it wouldn't be like this crazy thing. And then that would be included in the build log. Is that something that you look at that and you'd be like, oh yeah, I could see that working? Or you're like, that just looks like it's too, that doesn't make sense.
Uh, I think the Sharpie thing is a tougher sell, but I could imagine. In my mind, I imagine. The Voyager has the plate, and it's got like humanity or whatever sort
Oh
of
yeah.
instructions how to like, right.
Yep.
Um, it would be interesting to like aggregate all of that stuff together and then just do some like brass etched plate or something, which is
Oh yeah,
actually
like
really
this
easy to
sled
do.
sponsored by
Um,
BFG Neil and Helium and like, or whoever that, I'm not throwing anyone on the
well,
bus
but
there. I'm just throwing out names.
sure, but I think you could do a cool thing where you take the like build diagram and you say like flywheel over here and like sort of how it all assembles, and then
Yeah.
sponsored by BFG. Like, so there's a little bit more of a like, I'm gonna like participate this and understand this project a little more as a
Yep.
pusher, right?
Yep.
Um,
And would
I think
that
that
go,
would be an
so
interesting angle.
would that go on the sled, or, cause I was thinking I could do that. I hadn't thought of the exploded diagram. That's super cool, but I could just put that on the site. Cause I'm looking at the thing, like one thing I always worry about with helping companies raise money or doing it for myself is like, all right, now the brass, plate costs $300. It was 1,000 for the whole thing. Like you're leaving $300
Right.
on the table because you spent money on fucking the stupid sponsorship thing.
Yeah. Well, if you raise more than $300, then you're out ahead. So that's maybe
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
right, the
Yeah.
trade-off.
Yeah.
But like if you did the illustration on the website, presumably you've got a medium now where you can take that and I go run it on my CNC machine or something, right? Like
Yep.
we do it in aluminum, right?
Yep.
With some spray paint to contrast it or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
And I've got a buddy that I arranged to give him CNC too. I could probably have him be like, hey, remember that fucking $4,000 machine I delivered to your door?
Yeah, yeah. You
Maybe you
got
can
any
fucking
brass
throw a
on
plate together
hand?
for me.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Okay.
don't know. Some of that stuff is like those are. It's actually, I think it'd be cheaper than you would expect. I think is the important part on
Yeah.
that you're going to pay for the materials and a little machine time or whatever, or get the buddy to do it.
Yeah. And okay. So that would, cool. So the promise would be that there'll be a plaque on the sled and there will also be a page on the site that basically says like V1, here's the sponsor, like here's the list of, here's the bomb, here's who sponsored it, and maybe it's in an exploded diagram or whatever. And then there's a,
Mhm.
if you want it, there's a link to your site. So if you're trying to build up link credibility, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that makes enough sense for me to keep going with that.
I'm in for some sprockets or something, I think. So
When I, that's my thing today is to like to build that out. I'm trying to limit myself to just like getting one project done per day.
Mhm.
Instead
Good.
of trying to do like 30 projects and none of them have significant progress.
Yeah. Part of the make something every day is that you actually get something done. So that's the critical part. You can't just go do a dozen things, not getting
Yeah.
anything done.
Yeah. 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 Let's see. I think that's most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all notes I
I
got.
mean, on the helium end, it's just really heads down. The team is cranking like 110% on all fronts. I goes to the office till like 8 or 9 last night, trying to like wrap stuff up. It's going to be a busy day today.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I guess I'd kind
Trying
of
to, yeah,
blow my lips out at that, but God, I'm up to like every night. I think I went to bed at 11:30 and I was up at 6 and
yeah,
just there's so much fucking fun stuff to do.
yeah.
Um, I very rarely stop. I mean, I almost never stop and do nothing. Just like, oh, there's like so much shit to do and it's so awesome. And this is the moment to grab it and get after it that
Mhm.
I can't imagine, working at,
Like, what else are you going to do?
yeah, working at some
Just
job where
kind
you're
of,
like, I'm going to go skate and take a cigarette break for 40 minutes. Like, dude, you're not going to get that 40 minutes back.
right.
Like no
Yeah.
one's going to refund you at
Um,
the end of the day. Like, oh, you managed to fuck your employers for 40 minutes. Here it is. And you can use it for your own things. Like, no, every
no.
minute the pick spot
Yeah.
and click spot is gone.
The weird fantasy in my mind has always been if I had to take some hourly job, whatever, security guy at a debt, like that is the most beautiful, just like hacking on a project time that you could have. Like I always like every time you like there's a front desk person and they're just sitting there on their phone or staring at a security camera and be like that is like the dream. Like just nothing to bug you. Like
Yeah.
you have 100% focus, big empty building, like you can just build shit.
I'll
So
tell you a funny
I love
story
it.
then. So, oh, years ago, I worked for the Navy teaching diving. And to in this particular instance, you would send whatever it is, 40 students out on a dive, and they're going and doing their whatever super secret squirrel shit. They're diving underwater, no bubbles. They're going to put a mine on a target, whatever. And so you have a couple hours because that's the limit of their diving equipment where if you're not on the boat and actively being safety, like you have to be around, but there's nothing to
Mm,
do. And so my buddy and I used to sit and we would just talk about life, the universe, and everything. And then one time I had to change a part on my Volkswagen. I had this old TDI, this old diesel Golf. And because of the nature of that business, there's a giant high bay where normally, like before and after a dive, they all lay the tables out. They put the dive rigs on the tables. You pre-dive it, you post-dive it, you do all the cleaning stuff to your stuff. And in the middle of it, it's empty. And so I pulled my car as soon as we sent them off. I pulled my car in a high bay, hood went up, and I just had my set of instructions. I had like my tool bag laid out, and I just fucking dug into the ass of this thing. And the engine was like in parts all over the floor. And I'm like, I've got 2 hours to do this. I got to work as fast as I can. And the other dudes who are on the dive are like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, dude, there's nothing to do. I got to fix my car. This is like a $1,200 fix at the for a
yeah.
$40 part. I'm gonna fucking do it. And it was awesome. By the end of the dive, as the students are coming up, like I was just closing the hood of the car, pulled it out, parked it back where it was before it started. Like the students never saw that was different. And because there's other guys out there doing the safety stuff, wasn't like a safety hazard to them. But exactly what you're saying with someone at the
Yeah.
front
So
desk, like just doing their own thing.
I think it's a mentality thing. It's just like I'm gonna make the most of whatever this is. And yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, good shit. Yeah,
Oh, there's
those,
another funny thing. I wonder if I still have the thing here. It's somewhere. So when those guys were diving, and I don't know if this is still true, this is a while ago, is you drag a buoy on the surface. It's your safety buoy so the instructors can see where you are and make sure you're not
mhm,
going into a shipping lane or off track. But you're underwater. And so you are just, I think most of this is public, like you're just diving a course. And so you're like, I'm going to dive this course for 20 minutes and then I'll turn to this heading for another 20 minutes. But you don't see anything. You're in the fucking super dark, murky water. And so there's no way for you to see what you did afterwards. Right?
Mm.
Like you start at one place and your mission is to go to another place and do a thing there, whether it's to get out of the water and change into your clothes and go do something and then come back and change back and dive back. Or like in Panama, when we went down there, the guys inserted on one side of the canal, went into the water. I think they swam across the canal. Maybe they didn't swim across. They swam along it. They put a mine on a boat and then they swam back and blew the boat up. But you have no idea where you are in space at any time other than like, hey, I'm diving this plan that I've dove. And so
Mhm.
at the time, this is, what was it? When was I working there? 2010, 2011. It was super high tech to have a GPS tracker. So I bought a GPS tracker and I put it on one of the buoys and it
Mm.
wouldn't push it live. It would just push it to memory on the tracker itself. And then at the
Mhm.
end of the dive, and this was like, I'm sure other people were doing it before me, but as an instructor, I never saw anyone else ever do this. I would have the class in and be like, hey, here's where dive pair 12 went. Like, let's walk through what they did. And being able to see like, oh shit, the current was stronger than we thought, or we thought we were here and we were there. And you're with your dive buddy. So underwater, you're communicating as best you can, but you can't really communicate. It's not like they have radios down there. It's
Yeah.
mostly just like, let's fucking go. And you're super irritable. It's one of the side effects of diving on pure oxygen is you'll get irritable. And so
Huh.
it's really difficult to communicate and like to kind of think straight. You just have this locked in thing. And so it's funny to think now, 15 years later, like that is trivial to do.
Right.
But at the
Right.
time, like I had to order this custom thing and the battery life was a problem and downloading the information was a problem and displaying the information on a map was a big deal. Like super fun to
Yep.
see. Yeah. Where it's coming. As
Yeah.
you know,
I think I
good.
had some little Garmin thing like 10 years ago, and it was just, that was a whole operation in and of us, like just operating
Yeah.
and getting charts off to it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now it's just
that's
like
cool.
easy to
But it's
watch.
total game changer for somebody that's like trying to figure out what they did underwater. It's like, well, I drifted way over here and then I went like, oh, I could have cut that corner and I would have saved like 5 minutes off
Yeah.
my dive. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It does make me
that's
think.
cool.
So it's like the feedback loop thing. And that's what I try and
Hmm.
build in when I'm building all these different programs now or websites or whatever, or chat pieces. Like the faster and cleaner the feedback loop, the faster and better, or the better this thing can get, the faster it can get better.
But yeah, faster and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
okay. That was my little story. Story
Cool.
time's over. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take the helium thing down. That's it. I think we'll see you. Is it next
All
week or
right.
do you guys have, is next week the third is the community call? And are you guys going to do community calls on X now?
Community calls will be on X. That is next weekend. Yeah. So I'll be out next weekend doing that.
Cool.
And then I'll catch up to you on, I
We're out
guess, the
next week,
29th.
next Wednesday. I'll just cancel our.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, hopefully we'll start showing off a little bit of stuff that's going on the helium end of the things soon. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay. Is there
no
something big
promises
that I
yet.
should be looking for?
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, there is. Is
Oh,
there anything I can do to prepare for it, or should I be doing anything other than just using my phone like a normal person?
just keep yeah, keep
Just
doing the
continue
thing.
being excellent. That's it. All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. All right.
All right, dude. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll watch you on the community call.
Sounds good.
All
All
right.
right.
Rock and roll.
Later.